What's going on, guys? It's Mariano. Welcome back to the channel. So we're just going to get right into this right now. Just keep in mind, Dogecoin is at about 51 cents as of this time. We're about 5 p.m. Eastern on the 15th. But today we're going to be talking about this tweet from Mark Cuban. All right, and this is very, very important because Mark Cuban knows his stuff. All right, he's one of the early adopters of Dogecoin as a method of payment, and he is big in the finance space and the crypto space. If you don't really know who he is, which I doubt, he is a billionaire who has owned multiple companies. He's been on Shark Tank. He knows his financials, and he knows tech, and he knows crypto. All right. And he owns the Dallas Mavericks, who actually accept Dogecoin as a method of payment for their tickets, and he's in control of that. So his opinion on Dogecoin is pretty important and can tell us a lot about what we can expect for Dogecoin going forward. So let's go ahead and read his tweets and evaluate what he says. And the way that we can look at his tweets are kind of in a way that can give us some potential insight into what we can expect from Dogecoin going forward based on how we need to adjust our viewpoint on Dogecoin. So let's just start from the top here. All right, it says crypto and each implementation is evolving in real time. Let me zoom in just in case you can't see this very clearly. All right. Sorry, it says crypto and each implementation is evolving in real time from what is the potential utility to what is the current utility and how many users does it have. All right, so let's just break that down. He's saying our previous viewpoint up to now has been, okay, a new cryptocurrency, what can it do? What can it potentially do? And that's kind of how we value a crypto. But he's saying the mentality needs to be switching to what can it do right now, but then also how many users does it have? All right, how many people are taking advantage of it and using it? Then he says token or coin prices are now less a bet on the future and more a reflection of real demand. So really what matters now is not just, again, what can this thing do in the future? How many different things can we make this cryptocurrency do? But how many users does it have? How many users will it have? How many people want to use it? Like, what's the demand to use this cryptocurrency on a day-to-day basis? And you know, supply and demand, when there is demand, there is value. Let's continue without getting stopped too much here because there's a lot to read. Having more TPS and lower gas fees is not enough, lower costs. There must be a current network effect and significant user growth. This is a challenge for most L1 and L2s because, with few exceptions, marketing in the crypto universe is beyond awful. Crypto is a product-driven business. Each platform has to create demand for its products or applications that outperform the non-crypto equivalents. Like any business, it needs customers, sales, profits to function, sustain itself, and be, useful as a company. All right, but basically what he's saying is that there needs to be enough demand for the product to give it a reason to be used for the non-crypto equivalent. When you translate that into like English, right? Maybe an easier way to think about it. Let's just think of Dogecoin, right? We want it to be the day-to-day crypto for transacting. There should be some clear, obvious benefit to use Dogecoin for that over using the US dollar, the non-crypto equivalent of currency, all right? Let's just keep reading. Some of the crypto platforms I talk to now seem confused when I ask about their products, sales, gross margin dollars, and profits, but they truly matter. As in any other business, how can you share revenue with token holders if there isn't a plan to generate revenue? True. Usually, it's a good idea to have some kind of growth plan with anything that someone's going to invest in because they're going to want some incentive to invest, right? So if you aren't making profits, how are you giving money back to the people that are investing in your product? For example, Dogecoin. If it's not appreciating and the devs or the creators of Dogecoin aren't making profit in any kind of way, how can they reward people for staying invested? Where are they getting profits from if there's no business model? All right, let's just keep reading. I don't want to get stopped too much. This is a long thread. He says, there is so much competition at all levels. And the crazier part is that competition for developers and users is so intense and so important that every L1, L2 is investing in almost everything. Why? Because they know their business is a zero-sum game. Without users, what value does a blockchain have? But they still haven't figured out how to sell. They pay premiums to developers, but invest little marketing to attract users. Interesting. He says, then there is community. When participation is high, decentralized governance can be a thing of beauty, but there's little marketing being done to emphasize the impact governance can have on the platforms, etc., etc. It can lead to confusion, less involvement. He thinks over time it'll be expected that there will be some sort of governance, even if it's as small as letting the users or pretty much everyone vote towards a decision of will we change this, that, or the other. Like all general technologies, it takes generations to grow up, or a generation. Crypto is in the phase where users need to be educated and products and services need to be sold and deliver on their initial promises. Then crypto can mature to a point we wondered how we ever lived without it. And then he just said also, hype and pump is not marketing. If you want to know the value of a platform, if you want to know the value of a platform, I said that wrong. Look at the usage numbers for whatever utility, if anything, it provides. Doge is an example. Its future depends on whether people use it to buy things or if it gains other utility. This was a whole handful to read, right? A whole handful to read, but it's just a lot to think about, even starting from the top. It's not all about utility. How many different things can we use it for? But how many people want to use it for a purpose, right? And what can it currently do? Just reverse that. What can it currently do and how many people want to use it for that purpose? There we go. All right. And then just towards the bottom, I thought this was interesting as well. We need users, potential users, because we're in phase 1 of crypto. We need the potential users to understand what is cryptocurrency, why should they use cryptocurrency over something like just the US dollar, why should I invest into crypto? When I get paid, why should I convert my USD to Dogecoin versus just keeping my US dollars in my bank account, debit or checking, or savings? Why should I do that versus doing that? There needs to be a reason. There needs to be an education process, or else it's just not going to catch on. And it might catch on, but it's going to take forever. And so basically what he's saying, if we really want this thing like Dogecoin to blow up, there needs to be some investment into letting the world know why they should be using Dogecoin. All right. So get your service figured out, basically, get Dogecoin stabilized, make it more efficient. The things that Elon Musk is doing with Dogecoin, all great and dandy. But then the education process, this is a new technology to pretty much the entire world. So there does need to be some work done before we can really take off to educate pretty much everyone on what it is and why they should use it so that they feel comfortable with it. Give it a try. If it works, great. And then it just catches on word of mouth. And then you have a real worldwide, generally accepted product. All right. But hype and pump, like he says, is not marketing. Short term, yeah, cool. All right. For a couple days, your price hikes. But to really get this thing to be sustainable at, for example, 70 cents per Doge, $1 per Doge, it needs to be understood widely what the purpose of it is, why it should be used, and it not just be a little pump and dump, all right? Because that is very, very short term, and usually things that pump and then dump just fade away into nothingness. And that's not what we want from Dogecoin, right? We want it to be around to stay. So I hope you found that interesting. Anyway, we already know that Mark Cuban takes Dogecoin really seriously. If he accepts it as payment in such a large venue, obviously he's a fan of it. But he does make a really, really good point. And now that people are starting to think that way, that should tell us something. Dogecoin is really, really becoming serious. So now's a great time to invest. And if you haven't yet, you still have some more time to buy the dip.